Greetings everyone, this is Andrea and Marah. I just wanted to come on with a quick video and, just talk about some 2022 market prep tips to kind of help you get ready for your first market of the year. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to listen to today's video. I just want to take a quick moment and ask you all for your help. We are on the road to our first 100 subscribers. We're currently in the high 70s, close to 80. Please tell your friends, your family, anyone you know that's interested in starting their own home-based business and just want be part of a channel that wants to promote entrepreneurship in our communities. So please like, share, subscribe, and help us get to 100 subscribers. Alright, so I just wanted to take a minute to just talk about some things you need when you're getting ready for your first market. It's not always as cut and dry as it seems, but it's still easier than a lot of people make it out to be at the same time. So the first thing you want to do is find your market or event. And definitely just research. Search your, I would say when you are getting your search parameters together, look in your county. So do your county name markets, county name fairs, or things like that. So if you're in Raleigh, look for Wake County markets or Wake County fairs or things like that, just to kind of give yourself a large enough yet small enough area to find events for, because most events, not all, but some events want people who live in the local area, so those will be your best bet, and you'll usually get first choice sometimes depending on what they're looking for. And when you find an event you think you're interested in, contact the event coordinator with any of your questions. You don't want to pay fees and be there and find out things are different than what you thought. Don't assume anything. Go ahead and contact the event coordinator and ask all of your questions. My next tip to find an event is to apply early, because literally stalk the websites, and as soon as an event is made public and you know that that's the event that you want to attend and be a vendor for, go ahead and put your application in as soon as possible, because especially in the bath and body industry, those slots fill up the quickest, and it all depends on who applies first and who pays first. And so that's usually what they're going to look for. And so that leads into my next tip, is that as soon as you're accepted and you know this is the event for you, go ahead and pay your fees. You kind of have that money set aside so that as soon as you get your confirmation, go ahead and pay for it to lock your slot in. And make sure, another big thing, it seems silly, but make sure you understand what type of display area you have. Do you just have a single table, which is usually about one of the 6-foot tables? Or do you have a booth space, which indoor ones may be around 8 by 8 feet, while your outdoor spaces are usually 10 by 10, and it all depends on the event, the space available, and how they're organizing everything. But make sure you understand. Don't just say, hey, I want a space, and you don't know what kind of space you have to prepare for, because depending on your space, your setup is going to look completely different. Now, a few tips to kind of help you prepare for your event. Once you've accepted, you know where you're going to be, and you have all that lined up, practice your setup at home. I can't tell you how important it is and how valuable that has been for me to practice my setup at home, because no matter what I think I have figured out, once I put it on that table, I realize, ooh, that's not going to work, or I can't quite get the look that I want. So start early and check your display layout, and even time yourself setting up and breaking down. So you'll have those as reference points. You'll know how long you need to set up your table or display and how long it takes you to break it down. Because you usually have maybe a minute, you can have a minute as little as 30 minutes to get things together, depending. Make sure you have a way to collect taxes and electronic payments. Not all events, but some of your more, well, let's say the more juried events will typically want you to collect taxes. If it's not like a flea market or something, they'll usually want to make sure you have some way to collect taxes. So make sure you kind of get all that worked out beforehand. You also want to have some way to identify your business. Having a banner that you place either on your table, or if you're using a canopy, have it above your table, or even one of the pop-up signs. I definitely recommend the vinyl signs, and they're pretty reasonable. Just make sure and just kind of make sure you have your business name on there and your website and how to contact you. And for me, and I think a lot of people, it just looks a lot more professional when you have a tablecloth. The plastic ones will rip, they'll tear, they'll fly away if you're not careful. But having a nice tablecloth is just, it elevates the look of your space. And they're pretty reasonable on Amazon. The one I have is like fitted so that the corners kind of lay flat, and then it has like an empty gap in the back, so I don't have to lift it up on my side of the table to store things underneath. And it just kind of gives your display a really cohesive look. And something I learned from watching lots of other like YouTube videos, and I can't really remember which ones they were, but it was have an emergency kit with a first aid kit. Make sure you have scissors and tape and glue or whatever kind of things that you need, and you need extras of. So if you put tags on things, make sure you have extra tags. Make sure you have extra bungee cords, extra batteries, because there's nothing worse than you're trying to run a payment and your phone is on 2% and you still have an hour left to the event or 30 minutes left because your equipment is burning through power faster. So have those little battery packs charged up, ready to go. Make sure you have charging cords, just to make sure that you have everything you need to keep your system up and running the whole time. And multiple pens and paper, because pens grow legs and walk all the time, and you'll never know when you need to just write something down. When you have a thought or an idea, write it down, and just kind of have those extra things available to help things run more smoothly. Paper towel, tissues, depending on the season, having all those things. Trash bags, think of things off the top of my head. Trash bags are almost crucial, because even at the end of the day, when you're trying to break things down, if it starts raining, you can use trash bags to cover up your display items so things don't get wet or ruined, or signs or paper. It's a great protective thing. Next, make an inventory list of each product that you're taking. Know what you're taking and how much you're taking, so if something happens, having that inventory available can help you keep track of what you've sold, what you haven't, what's possibly disappeared, who knows. Always have plenty of change, fives and ones, quarters, nickels, dimes, pennies. Always have plenty of change, because there's nothing worse than a customer wanting to buy something and you don't have the correct change to give them. Always have plenty of business cards on hand and promotional items that you may want to give out to those who may or may not purchase. Just having more than what you need. So If you have an event where 500 people come through, have at least 500 just to, you know, make sure, or at least half that amount. At least have 250 of whatever you're going to pass out or have on hand as a bare minimum, because everyone's not going to be interested. But if you can reach at least half the people, that's a good place to start. And also, if you're going to be outdoors, get a canopy that has sides. Now, there's lots of really cool colors that you can use for events, but the most basic and most accepted color is white, because there's some events that may only want to, so they can have a cohesive look, you have to have a certain color, and usually that color is going to be white. That's the easiest to get a hold of. And get one that has sides to it. It'll be a little extra, but definitely. There was an event I went to and it was in December. It was already cold, and then it was raining on top of that. But having those sides and like the little flap that I could open up and close, and the awning, it really helped to keep myself, my family, and all my products and customers dry. Now, during your market, you want to, well, my best tip is to arrive as early as you are allowed to. Literally, if they start allowing people around 9 o'clock, I'm gonna be there between 8:30 and 8:45. So I'm there. I can get the premier parking spot. I can, as soon as they allow, because sometimes they may allow you a few minutes early, I'm gonna go in, run in, throw my stuff in my space, and go park my car as close to the building as possible. Because usually events end after it starts getting dark, and the last thing I want is to have to trudge out into the middle of nowhere in some really weird place that I'm not familiar with and have to go get my car by myself. It's dark, it's creepy, and then even if the weather gets kind of crazy, still being able to park closer to the venue is definitely a plus. And also, the sooner you get set up, the more time you have to go explore before it kicks off and customers start coming through. So I like to always finish up early, look over my display, and then I'll go and check out all the other venues. I like to look at other people who sell products similar to mine and just kind of see what they have set up, get some ideas about what I like or what I don't like. And then if you want to go ahead and patronize some of the other vendors, that's the best time to do it, so you don't have to leave your space unattended later. And again, this is going to sound super silly, but please don't forget to smile. One of the craziest things is when you're at an event and customers are coming through and you see other vendors that just look so angry, and they may not be, but by not having a smile, and you'll see people look like they want to go up there, but they'll kind of keep walking because of the faces. So you want to always make sure, not be like creepy weird, but just have a nice smile and inviting, and say hello. Even if they don't come in, just kind of speak, make small talk. And it kind of warms people up to maybe they will circle back around to you. Another really important thing is to set up your space so you don't have any blind spots. If you have multiple tables, make sure you set yourself up where you can see what's going on every table. I'm liking more and more the idea of just minimizing myself to one table that's right in front of me, so I can keep an eye on everything, because you're going to have a lot of people coming up, a lot of people touching things, a lot of people moving things, and you want to just be able to make sure that you're able to see everything that's going on in your space. Another great thing to do during a market is to grow your email list. Collect first names, last names, and emails. If you only want first names, that's fine too. But I like to have a first and last name and their email, and build your email list as well. So even if they don't purchase anything, you can still make that contact later to kind of follow up to see if they want to come back to you. And having a buddy along is always a good idea for those bathroom breaks. There's someone there to watch your space, watch your cash box. There's someone to be in your space to while you go get your car, or they can go get the vehicle at the end of the evening. It's just always good to have somebody else that you can trust along with you. And a lot of people don't think about after the market, that reflection period you have afterwards, and how that's going to help you get ready for even your next event after that. So after the market, you get home, get some good rest, and the next day, go ahead and send out welcome emails if you collected any email addresses. That's the perfect time because your business is still fresh in their mind. If you have an automated system, just go ahead and input the names and let everything start being sent out automatically. So that way, while your business is fresh in their mind, they can be reminded and they can go online and check you out. And my favorite part is to kind of sit back and reflect on which products sold the best and which products sold the worst. Which products were people asking me the most questions about? And that's also a great time. Well, I'll talk about that later, but just reflect on what sold the best, what sold the worst. So you know at different places, when you have different client bases, there's going to be different preferences. So you'll know next time, I won't take this, but I'll take more of this. Or this sold really well, but there were a lot of questions. I need to probably rework my labels or rework how I display things. So that goes to our next point. Reflect on the venue. Did you like the place where you were? Did you like the atmosphere? Did it seem organized? Would you recommend this event or the organizer to your friends if they're looking for markets? Would you recommend them? Or if the opportunity presented itself, would you go back? Would you work with this organizer again? And back to what I said previously about reflecting on your experience, how can you make your experience vending more streamlined? Did you have your prices visible? Did people ask you a lot about how much does this cost? How much does this cost? You may need to rework your signage. Or if people ask, what's in this? What's in that? You probably need to really make sure you have your ingredients label on there. Make sure everything is a large enough font that they can read, just to kind of help alleviate the questions, because my philosophy is that every question a customer can answer for themselves is a little less stress on me, and I can focus on getting customers checked out, or I can focus on other questions that may not be related to the products on the table. All right, so here's the big question. Is Myrrh FrankinSCENTS ready to be a vendor in 2022? Well, let me talk about a few ways that I'm getting my business ready to be a vendor for 2022 events. I already have one big event lined up. It's going to be my big spring event. It's probably going to be the biggest one I have for the year. And I've already gotten my application, I've gotten my confirmation, got my fees, I'm locked in. So I've been making my lists, product lists, and kind of working out how much of things I want to take. So that's great. I'm really happy with that. Next, I'm preparing to apply for the local farmers market. In my county where I live, they actually allow handmade goods. As long as you're the one who made the product, you're allowed to sell at the farmers market. So I figure, that'll be a great thing to do, have a regular presence in the community one day a week that I can go in and kind of get my face and my name out there in the community. And then the farmers market runs about April to like October. So after that, I want to find just one more big event for the fall and winter season. And I think that'll definitely kind of round out my year. I've updated my product labels and my business cards. I've kind of changed my font and the look of my brand just a little bit. I guess I could say I've rebranded a little bit. The name is the same, but just the focus of my business has changed a bit since I last made my promotional products and my business cards and my labels. So I've updated those things to kind of reflect those changes that I've made. And I think the biggest thing is that I'm practicing with my new POS system. Um, I love how it's linked to my shop, so I don't have to worry about um, inventory and things like that, where it automatically adjusts my inventory to reflect purchases from customers and things. So that helps out a lot. But the new system is just so different, and I just booted it up the other day and I was like, man, I'm really glad I decided to, charge my card reader and kind of look at the POS system and see how it's changed, because it's definitely invaluable to be able to accept card payments at events. Personally, I only do cash, credit, and debit. I don't do checks, and I don't really particularly care for the other cash apps. Cash App and Venmo and PayPal. I like to keep it simple, because as long as you accept those three major um, payment options, you're pretty much going to be able to process 99% of all customer payments. There may be just a few people that don't have that want to do only Cash App or only whatever. But for the most part, you'll be able to process 99% of all of your transactions. So I just want to take a minute to thank you for listening. Check us out on our website or check us out on YouTube. And with that, peace and blessings, and stay sensational.